we? Hello, good morning, and welcome to today's Top Tip Tuesday. My name's Jody, the creator of the Lifestyle Business Builder, co-founder of the 7 Effect. I've been drinking my swamp juice, so I've got bits stuck in my teeth. I just want to make sure they're all cleared out for you. So today's Top Tip Tuesday comes to you as a special dedication for Amanda, who was on a coaching call last week. Oh, let me put my mic over. Maybe you can hear me a bit better now. Comes to you as a special dedication to Amanda, who last week on the coaching call said, have you got any instructions on how to build a workbook for my programs, for her coaching program from scratch? And I said, yes, we do, but I can't remember where they are. So let me do a Top Tip Tuesday for you, because it is very, very simple. So what I want to do, as always, in this morning's Top Tip Tuesday is remain open to your questions and comments if you have any as we're going through the content. If you are watching live, I would love you to say hi in the chat. I'd love you to click the link above so I know who it is that's saying hi to me in the chat if you haven't already. Often you just do it once and it'll stay with you for good. And feel free to play along, get comment in the chat as we go through this process together. So I'm going to share my screen with you and just basically talk you through the 7 steps that you need to know. And then we are going to actually put a very simple workbook together so you'll see how easy it is. So let me just make sure we can share the screen. All right, we got, that one. Let's put this one down. Update audio system. No, cancel that. Sorry, I got lots of things popping up. All right. So hopefully now you can see on the screen a very simple 7-step workbook creator. So I'm going to talk you through these 7 steps. Grab a pen and a piece of paper if you want to write them down. And then I'm going to show you just how easy it is to actually do this. In fact, before I do that, I should show you what we work towards. So any of you that have been through our workshops or our events would have seen, I'll just go back here, our workbooks before. So let me show you an example of a workbook. So this is our Brain Body Business Workbook, and we have a designer to help us put them together. We have a cover page, then we move into a bit about us, we get to the contents page, and then you'll see each of our pages sort of follow a fairly simple formula. Well, these are all just, this has got a lot of intro stuff, but when we get into the guts of it, I'm just looking for an example. This one doesn't follow the exact same formula, but most of our pages have a comment, a title at the top, a quote underneath. So we usually have a compelling quote about it, a little sentence or so that explains it, an activity, and then a closing off with a result. So let me talk you through it. But basically, every workbook that I make starts like this, as a basic Word document that I then share with our designer, and they make it look beautiful. So here are the 7 steps. Grab your pen and let's actually do it, shall we? So firstly, step 1 is you're going to want to have a title, which is going to become your cover page. Now, a good cover page will probably have the title. So if I was going to make this into a workbook, it would be the 7-step workbook creator. I might also have a results-focused tagline for coaches and consultants who want to know how to make workbooks really simply from scratch. That would be an example of that. And then I would come up with a nice image that would go on it. So the title is actually going to become your entire cover page. So we have one beautiful magazine style cover page. Step 2 is your topics. Your topics become the contents page. And so what I do is I'll write down my title, and then I'll literally just dot point what are all the things that I want to do. So they become my topics. And you'll see that's exactly what I've got going on here. I've got my title and then I've got my topics, which are here. The next step is you have your header. Now the header is your topic plus a quote. Very straightforward. You just think of your topic and then you put your quote underneath. Beneath that goes the story, concept, activity, and result. So I just want to highlight the fact that beneath this section, if we were to draw a line here, this is what we call SCAR, S-C-A-R. It's a really nice model that you can remember for working out how do I teach people what I want to share. That's my own concept, the SCAR model. The other one that we've introduced into LBB is called format, which is why, what, how, and what if, which is your frequently asked questions. Very similar. So the story explains why we're doing what we're doing. The concept or the model unpacks what it is actually that we're doing. The activity talks about how we go about doing it, and the result just explains how you get that final result once you've completed the activity. And quite often, I don't even put results in the workbook, but it's there because I know that I need to make it very clear the reason why we're doing this is so that you can get the particular result you want to. For example, the reason why we're going through this is so that Amanda and everyone else inside of the Lifestyle Business Builder can make light work of building workbooks from scratch from their programs. So let's just recap, shall we? Because it's pretty straightforward, but I know it's easy for people to get lost. I open a blank Word document. I write down, right, what is the title of my program? Then I'll put in dot points, what are all the topics that I want to cover? Then what I would do is I would copy and paste those onto the next page, and I'll show you and walk you through this in a minute. And then I start turning each topic into a header, and then I find a quote to go under it. So that really lays out the skeleton. Then to put the meat on the bones of the skeleton, we actually use the SCAR model. So we'll have a little explanatory paragraph, which is your why. We'll put a visual diagram, which is your concept or model. A visual diagram could also just be a table, like it can literally be a table. By the way, if you are watching live, I would love you to say hi so I know who is tuning in. I see we've got a few people tuning in, which is great. And then after that, we'll actually do the activity, which is usually just one line saying, use the table below to complete this activity. If it's a bigger activity, you might have a couple of paragraphs to set them up on how to do the activity. Most of the time, I just talk people through it in the room, so I don't write a lot about how to do the activity. And then finally, the result that they hope to achieve. So you can write a little bit about that as well. So now that we have looked at that one, let's move over to another version of it. So I'm just going to bring up this one. I will close down this and I'm going to show you what I've done. So I'm using this exact same thing as an example of how I might create a workbook for the 7-Step Workbook Creator. Good morning, Anne. Great to have you here. Thank you for tuning in live. So hopefully this will be helpful for you, Anne, if you've got any workshops coming up and you want to have a simple, fun, easy way to create your workbooks. So once I've done the planning like I showed you before, I would take my heading, which is the 7-Step Workbook Creator. Now on that title page, I might include a tagline, and it might be, I'll make the tagline a little bit of a smaller font, for coaches and consultants who want to build fantastic workbooks with ease from scratch. Now, that's not the best tagline in the world, but I'm just showing you how I would do it. So that's an example. Another tagline you could follow, a formula that we use, is the yay without the boo, even if there is poo. Anne, is this familiar to you? It would be, because we talk about this in our boot camp, actually. Yay without the boo, even if there's poo. So what does this actually mean? It means the result they want is the yay. The boo is the thing they don't want to have to do. And the poo, and saying it sure is, the poo is the place that they feel stuck. So let me give you a tagline example of yay without the boo, even if there's poo. So create an awesome workbook. So the yay is the awesome workbook. Without the boo, without pulling your, or what should we say, without struggling with writer's block, even if you've never made a workbook before. So I'd look at that and go, okay, that's pretty average. How would I improve it? Even if you're terrible at writing, or even if you suck at coming up with ideas. Or it could even be, I think about, and so this is where I go around and around in circles, even if you think you don't have a creative bone in your body, which a lot of people think they don't have. So that's just a bit of an example of how you could come up with a workbook cover. So we'd have that, we'd have our tagline, and then we would find a really lovely image. Now, hot tip, we get a designer to do all of our workbooks, but you can make them in Canva, and there's really lovely templates, and so you can just totally do it on your own. So that's the cover page: title, tagline, and image. The second thing, once we do that, is we create our header and we use the title and the quote. So remember, the first step of this 7 steps is you create your workbook title. And so I just did a quick Google and typed into Google quotes about names. Let's say my first title page was, I've missed a step here. Let me do something. We've got to put our contents page. I thought something was wrong. So we go back here. I usually have, because most of our programs are day 1, day 2, so we have 2-day or 4-day. But here in the contents, we would actually, I'm going to go to my other thing, copy, copy. We would actually have, under contents, we would just have these. We'll take out the line because we don't need that. And so this is what we can expect in the book. Then what I would do is I'd copy and paste this, and then I use the title here. We need to restart those numberings. You can go to... Anyway, we don't need to worry about that. That should be 1. You don't even have to have a number there. It can literally be just like that, or you can put a number. Sometimes we use numbers, sometimes we don't. So here you'll see I'm addressing point 1. Point 1, workbook title. Find my quote. Then I write my little bit of my, see, I'm doing the stuff here, my header. Oops, what is going on here? Header, topic and quote, and then I've got my story, my model, activity, and results. So let me show you how I've done that. Here's the story. The title page of your workbook is simply your cover page. A good title page will have 3 things: a simple title that's easy to understand, a results-focused tagline, a visual image. That's pretty much what I just taught you. And then I've said, okay, use the table below to plan your cover page. So I've just whacked in a very simple table where I might be running a workshop, and I'd say, okay, I want you to come up with 3 ideas for your workbook 3 different titles. What would the 3 different taglines be? And what would the 3 different images that you could use? Now let's mix and match, use it as a mixing desk and pick the final one. So in that, I've got the concept or the model, which is my table here. I might design my own special model if I wanted to. If I was teaching something else, I could put in a model of, let's say, format if I was teaching that. If I was teaching behavioral styles, I might have the social styles grid. Any image there, if I was teaching Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant. Gabriella, I see you've just arrived, hence the inspiration to talk money. I would have a picture of Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant there. Then I would have the activity of what we're going to do with the cash flow quadrant. And then I would have my results line, which is simply a great cover page will get people excited to dive into the content. So it's very, very simple, my friends. Gabriella, thanks for joining us. And I'm just letting you know what I've been going through is a really simple way to build workbooks from scratch. So I've got a 7-step process. I'll show you the 7 steps again in my main header. Let me bring the right share screen up. There we go. The 7-step workbook creator. Step 1, come up with your title, which is your cover page. Step 2, brainstorm your topics, which will become your contents page. Step 3, each one of those topics becomes a header. In my headers, I usually have a topic, then a quote. Step 4, and you'll see this, Gabriella, when you come to some of our workshops this year and our masterclasses. Step 4, 5, 6, and 7, we follow the SCAR concept. SCAR down there stands for story. Do a little bit of an explanatory. Concept or model is your visual diagram. Activity, the action to implement. And the result, what they will get once they complete this process. So it's pretty straightforward. Hopefully that makes sense. If anyone has any questions about this and they're watching live, by all means, jump in and ask me. Otherwise, questions about anything else, I am here to help. Hopefully that makes sense. Just give me a thumbs up if you've got the concept or if I explained it too quickly. That would be awesome. And obviously, if you missed the start of it, you can always go back and catch the replay. Brilliant. We've got a thumbs up. Hopefully that means I'm making sense. And I will also put this Word document in LBB if you want it, as well as a link to our actual workbook. So when you're a member of the Lifestyle Business Builder, if we do an event and you want to have a look at the workbooks for any of our programs, we're very generous like that. We will share them with you. You don't even have to come to the event. So you just let me know and I'm happy to share you copies of our workbooks. And as long as you don't completely plagiarize it all, which I trust you wouldn't, but use it by all means as inspiration to make your own beautiful workbooks in your business. All right, that's it for this morning's top tips. By the way, next week, a link would be great. Yeah, absolutely, Anne. I'll share a link to all our workbooks in LBB for you so you can go through those. Next week, I'm going to be talking about, what was I going to be talking about? I had a plan. Identify your niche. Oh, that was last week's. All right, I had it mapped out in my notes. But what I also want to share with you this week is some really cool ideas that comes from a book called Sacred Contracts by Caroline Myss. I think that's how you say her name. It's M-Y-S-S, I think. Anyway, she's all about archetypes and very cool woman. I really love her work. Oh, we start Top Tip Tuesday at 8:30, Gabriella. It used to be 8. This term, we moved it to 8:30. So we always start at 8:30. Next term, it's going to be 4:30 in the afternoon. So I have all my mornings back then because we've got a puppy now and it's difficult to try and fit the walks and everything in before 8:30. But I wanted to talk about this notion of sacred contracts. So in her book, Sacred Contracts, Caroline Myss talks about these things, these purposes or missions that we have in life. And she says that we're all born with a sacred contract, which is basically a reason why you're here, a job to do, a lesson to learn, stuff to get done. And it's really interesting. She says, and I found this to be true myself, and she quotes some famous author, I can't remember his name, that when you get into the creative process of writing a book or creating an artwork or building a business, whatever that creative process is, when you get into that and you continue to just take action and go into the flow, it starts to build itself. It starts to create a life of its own. And so I really wanted to mention this in today's top tips, because one of the biggest barriers I see people struggling with when they're starting out, obviously we specialize in helping startups get their business going from 0 to 6 figures. And the difference between those that make it to 6 figures easily and within 12 months or less, and those that don't, that struggle for 12 months, 2 years, or 3 years, and they continue to struggle. There's a very simple and profoundly big difference. The ones that get there are the ones that continue to take action even within the fear and the resistance. They actually take action to overcome their fear. So procrastination, perfectionism does not rule them. In fact, they take action so much that the action builds momentum, and before they know it, their business is starting to grow by itself. And I've seen this happen enough times to know that this is actual truth and fact. And what's really fascinating is even those people that have joined the Lifestyle Business Builder and taken action and worked hard in their business for maybe the first 5 or 6 years, but sort of bumped up against an income barrier like 30K or 50K. After working with me, we've realized there's one area that they have fear around. And so I give them the task to start taking action in that area, start shifting their beliefs around that particular area. And all of a sudden, the business grows and takes a life of its own until they get to the 6 figures. So if you are feeling like your business is not building a life of its own, if it's not growing, if it's not evolving, if you feel stuck, if you feel overwhelmed, chances are you are playing procrastination and perfectionism. Chances are you are letting your fear be the boss of you rather than you be the boss of it. So when it comes to fear, we all have it, me included. At our 7th birthday party, the girls gave me a voucher to jump out of an aeroplane and to go parachuting. And we joke that I, as a coach, am the person that pushes you guys, the Lifestyle Business Builders, out of the plane to fly and make your business become a reality. And so here I am now, afraid of heights, with a bucket list to go parachuting. But I'm genuinely absolutely terrified about doing this particular thing. I'm going to do it, but I know that I could cry. I expect I'll wet my pants. I know it's going to be terrifying. And I know in my mind, I'm going to be scared that I will die, that I won't land safely, and that it's just going to be this horrible, horrible feeling. But I'm doing it anyway. And once I've done it, it'll be a whole different experience. And so where I'm going with that is you've just got to step into your fear so your fear doesn't own you. And the more you lean on it, the more you actually lean into that fear, the stretchier it becomes and the bigger your comfort zone grows. So your business, my friend, is your sacred contract. It is your purpose. It is some calling. For some reason, you felt called to start a business, to help people, to solve problems, to change people's lives in the way that you can as a coach or a consultant. And you are doing yourself a disservice if you are allowing that calling to stay small and meek and mild because you are not leaning into your fears yet. What are the biggest things that people need to lean into when it comes to fear? Putting themselves out there, being visible on social media or in face-to-face networking. No more hiding behind the scenes, building funnels and making memes. It's not a good idea. You've got to get out there. Number 2, actually showing up to teach. Step into the master zone. Be the expert advisor. Run workshops, run online classes, run free events so that you can get people exposed to your wisdom and your knowledge, and they will start then trusting in you as the person to actually engage as their coach to get the results. And number 3, I would say, is truly owning your space. Act and think like a master expert specialist, not a generalist, jack of all trades, low value, bottom feeder. Sorry to say it, it's a terrible thing. But you really want to step into and own your space. So be more visible, get connected, build relationships. Share your wisdom as the expert person, run free workshops and events. And finally, own your space. And I'm talking here about an identity perspective. So if you are a master money coach, be the master money coach. Don't be kind of a nice person who can help people with a bit of advice. If you are a NLP practitioner or an NLP master who specializes in leadership, like really find the identity around that. I think we talked about with you, and it's about that mindset magician. Like, be the mindset magician. Whatever you want to be, you just be that. So that's it for me. It's always nice to finish a Top Tip Tuesday with a bit of a rant. Thank you everyone for tuning in live. Gabriella, hopefully all the confusion is sorted now. 8:30 for the rest of this term, which is only another week or two. And then next term, Top Tip Tuesdays will be at 4:30 in the afternoon, which I'm looking forward to. I think it'll be great because I'll have stuff that happens throughout the day that I can share with you. In the meantime, if you want my hands-on help implementing any of these ideas into your business, jump on a coaching call with me. We start the next coaching call 10 a.m. this morning. I would love to help you build a workshop, be more visible, teach your stuff so that you build your community and truly own your identity. Thanks so much, Anne, for your thanks. Thanks, Gabriella, for being here. And for the rest of you that tuned in, I'll see you on a coaching call soon. Bye-bye.